The first step in creating a choose-your-own adventure is to plan it all out first. If it's going to be narrative-driven, write out how the story will start, what choices the participants will have, what pictures you want to use, and the available endings. The more you plan it out, the easier it will be to actually create. As you can see here, I created a quick narrative-based story based on waking up in a forest. Using a template like this is actually very handy because it's easy to map out the pathways, insert pictures if you want, and it also has spell check. Now that it's planned out, I'm going to open up a Google form to start creating the Choose Your Own Adventure. One way to do that is through Google. If you go to the very top right, you'll see these waffle icons. If you click that, you can go down to Google Forms and open it up. It's going to create a form. I'm just going to start with a blank one. And of course, the first thing you should always do is name the form. This makes it easier to go back to Google Drive if you want to edit it again later. So the next part is going to be starting to actually input some of the information. So I'm going to use this form that I've already created to start mapping it out. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a picture. So I'm going to go over here to where it says Add Image, select that, and I'm going to select a file that I've already downloaded. Since we're starting in a forest, I'm going to have a picture of a forest, kind of to set the stage. Now, since it put it below the question, I'm just going to select right here and drag it up. And then give it a little caption. So now below is where we're actually going to kind of get into the meat of the narrative. So I'm going to come over here back to my planner, and I'm going to select this first part for starting the story. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to come over here, click where the question is, and paste that. Now I make sure that the option is multiple choice. So now let's get the options. So the first option I had was go to the river. So I'm going to copy that, come back over. Now I'm going to get the second one. The other option is to go to this mysterious cabin and paste. You'll note if you want to add more options, you just keep clicking here. Because some choose your adventures, maybe there's 3 choices or 4 choices the user has to make. Now after that, you need to make sure you hit required down here. Otherwise, they can just keep going through, how you create it. You want it to make sure it's required so that the next step forces them to actually make a decision. So you see where I'm going with the 3 dots. I'm going to click that. I'm going to come up here where it says go to section based on answer. Click that. Now you'll see here it says continue to next section. That's because I don't have any other sections created, but this is where I'm going to actually create the sections. So right here is where you can add a section. I'm going to click that to be my next option. So for the first one, go to the river. This is going to be that option. So now my second choice was to go to the cabin. I'm just going to create that right away. Add section. And then type what it is. Now I can scroll back up here and make sure those choices have somewhere to go. So go to the river. I'm going to come over here. And now I'm going to go down here where it says go to section 2, go to river. And then here where it says go to the cabin, I'm going to choose the selection to go to the cabin. So now the first slide or part of my presentation is already ready. So they're going to read that prompt and they can either go to the river or to the cabin. So now I'm going to come down here and start putting that information. So go to river. So I'm going to come back to the first river option. And these are going to be the choices. So I'm going to come back, and I'm going to just type it in. So that just gives me a little bit of information. Now again, I can add a picture if I want. And I believe I have a picture. I guess this picture is more of a stream than a river, but it'll work. Now I'm going to actually add where the choices are. So to do that is I'm going to come up here where it says add questions, right here. Now we have the section for the question, which I've already copied, so I can just type it in. So you make your way to the river, you look around, but you don't see any hint of which direction. So now they're going to have the choice of which direction do they go in. So I'm just going to copy these options here. So now they have these two choices. And I don't need it repeated, so I'm just going to go like this. So they're going to see they got to make a choice. Which direction are they going to follow the river? And just like before, you make sure you have the required. Then go to the three dots again. Select to go to section based on answer, which again is going to require you to make the sections. So you can do that now, or you can go do the other option. I'm going to just finish this one's first. So I'm going to do add section, which is follow direction of river. And then the other option is going to be don't follow direction of river. So now I have those two choices. I come back up here, and I'm going to make sure to select. So we want this one to be follow the direction of the river. We want this one to be walk in the opposite direction. And now I have these choices. So I'm going to just go over here and select those. So I scroll down. So the first one is going to be you follow the river, and this one's going to have an end. This is the right choice. So let's add a picture, because this is going to be the one where they arrive in a town. Find a town. Now I'm going to add the question prompts and paste in what I have. Now for this one, because I'm going to actually end it, I'm still going to have it required, and I'm still going to do the go to section based on answer. But since this one is an ending, instead of doing any of these, I'm going to go to submit form. So that way the participants know they've reached an ending and they've survived. Now let's go to the next one where they don't follow the directions. This one's going to be they get attacked by a bear. So let's add a picture of an angry bear. Some type of caption. And then we're going to have the text, which again, it's going to be up here. Add questions, which is going to be for our narrative. Paste that in. And this is going to be another ending. So this is one where they end, but it's not a successful ending. And we don't need that repeated. So again, repeat or required. Go to section based on answer. And then select submit form. So now I have one pathway completely done with multiple endings. There's still another one, because if we scroll back up here, the first choice was following the river. The next one was going to be if you go to this cabin. So now I'm going to come over, I'm going to add the picture of the mysterious cabin. And then I'm going to have the text surrounding this mysterious cabin. So instead of going to the river, these people have chosen to go to this cabin. So I'm just going to copy all of this information. And I'm just doing Control C, and then coming over here and doing Control V. Making sure it's multiple choice. And then I have the answers right here. So one of the options is going to be, let's try to open the door. And the other option is going to be turn around and go back to the river. Because some of your choices should probably be go back the other direction. So I'm going to erase that because we don't need it twice. Go down to required, 3 dots, and then go to section based on answer. Now because this one is turn around and head back towards the river, I already have this section. So I can click here. So I'm going to go up here to where go to the river is. So it's going to be like they made this choice to begin with. I still need this other section though. So I come over here to the add section. This is going to be the option if they just decide to break in. And I'm going to come back. Copy that. And let's add a picture. This is going to have the consequence if you just break into the cabin, there's going to be like a booby trap waiting for them. And then I'm going to add the text. And then the choices, I don't need the end. I'll just copy this part. And this is going to be my end for this option. So go to section based on ending, and it's going to be submit form. And then from there, I've already kind of created my first choose your adventure. So I can come back here because the next step is always going to be preview it. You want to look it over and see where your mistakes are. See if there's anything that you need to go change. So I can see what it would look like. So it shows you wake up in a forest. It's giving the text. You're waking up in a lit campfire in a dark forest. What should you do? I'm going to go go to the river. Okay, it shows my river. It's going to give the options. And I can see I put the text up here, so I now know maybe I want to go take that away because I know it's also down here. And I'm going to keep walking in the direction. So I'm just kind of testing it. So I find the town, and I want to go and I want to check everything. Make sure all the pathways connect where they should. Make sure you have the text where you need it. Double check everything. Once you're ready, and see now I was able to finish that one. Now it's about sharing it. So if I go back, I can go back to this original form. How to actually share it is going to be a couple ways you can do that. You can hit the send to get, if you wanted to email it. If you just want the link, this is usually the easiest way. You can shorten that form, copy it, and then go paste it in Schoology or send it to your students, however you need, and they're going to be able to start using it. hope this has been helpful.